First, Myrna Loy was the exotic beauty in more than 80 movies. Then reborn as Nora Charles, the witty, wisecracking, martini-sipping epitome of glamour. It was 1934 when director W.S. Van Dyke created movie magic by casting Myrna Loy in The Thin Man. It was a low-budget movie to be shot in just over 2 weeks. No problem for the man known as One-Take Van Dyke. The schedule actually lent the movie a feeling of spontaneous banter that audiences adored. They also adored Myrna Loy. In a national poll, she was picked Queen of the Movies. Grown men formed fan clubs in her honor. The President of the United States was her biggest fan. Off-screen, the ideal wife had a string of less-than-ideal marriages. One husband beat her, another was a world-class philanderer. The ever-independent actress was also denounced for her radical politics, and she was one of the first stars to take on a major studio. Through it all, Myrna Loy, like Nora Charles, remained the embodiment of sophistication and style.
You made any New Year's resolutions?
Not yet. Any complaints or suggestions?
Few. You don't scold, you don't nag, and you look far too pretty in the mornings.
All right, I'll remember. Must scold, must nag, mustn't be too pretty in the mornings.
She was very feminine. Women loved her style, and men loved her because she was so delicious.
Say, how many drinks have you had?
This will make 6 martinis.
All right. Will you bring me 5 more martinis? Leo, line them right up here.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, she was a pal, she was a partner, but she was also sexy, and she had it all.
She was one of the most admirable careers for a leading lady that's ever been in film. There is never one moment of her work that isn't sterling.
Everybody says that the movies should be more like life. I think life should be more like the movies.
Her luminous beauty lit up the screen, and her intelligence and wit captured audiences for 6 decades. Forever connected with the image of the perfect wife, Myrna Loy was far more complex than the character she played. Her life is a story of public service, personal disappointments, and professional challenges that only reality could provide.
She never saw the world as a vehicle for herself. She always saw the world as a place that could be made better for everyone.
For generations, Montana has captured the hearts and imaginations of free-spirited, pioneering people. It was here, in Raidersburg, Montana, on August 2nd, 1905, that Myrna Williams was born on her family's cattle ranch. Myrna was the first of 2 children born to David and Della Williams. It was her father who chose her unusual name.
Her father was taking cattle back east, and the train stopped at a watering place that was named Myrna. But it was just a whistle stop. And he liked the sound of it, and that's what he named her.
David Williams was a man's man who split his time between ranching and local politics. When Myrna was 5, her father moved the family to Helena, Montana, and bought a small home near the state capitol building.
Her father was a state legislator. He was in the Montana House of Representatives. He later became a banker and dealt with a lot of the prominent people of that time. He was very popular. Myrna always said that he was a Santa Claus kind of man, that he always came into the house with a smile and with gifts and presents, and that he just brightened their lives. Her mother studied in Chicago. She was a very fine pianist. So Myrna was brought up with a taste for music and for the arts.
Though she loved horseback riding and exploring the great outdoors, the freckle-faced tomboy was better known around the neighborhood for her dance performances staged in the family cellar. In 1916, the 10-year-old made her stage debut in the Rose Dream operetta at the Marlowe Theater in Helena. She even designed her own costume for the occasion. In 1917, the U.S. entered World War I. And even though the family had now grown to include a son, David Jr., Myrna's patriotic father felt compelled to enlist. After announcing his decision, David Williams made a special request of his 13-year-old daughter.
He called Myrna in and he said, "Myrna, you're my little soldier, and you must always remember that you've got to protect your mother and brother. Always take care of them."
But Myrna's father would see no battle. In the fall of 1918, the Spanish influenza tore through Helena, leaving hundreds sick and many dead. Myrna, her mother, and her brother David were all stricken. After nursing his family back to health, Myrna's father contracted the life-threatening flu virus. On November 10th, 1918, David Williams lost his fight with influenza. And in an ironic twist of fate, the 39-year-old was buried on the day the Great War ended. At 13, Myrna made a vow to forever honor her father's final request.
Myrna said that haunted her for the rest of her life. She felt actively responsible for her mother and brother.
Della Williams moved with her children to the more temperate climate of Southern California and rented a modest bungalow in Culver City. But California offered more than pleasant weather and beautiful beaches. The fascinating world of movie making lay just beyond the Williams' backyard. Myrna and a friend would often scale the walls of Goldwyn Studios to peer into the back lot, dreaming that one day they too would be a part of this land of make-believe. But real life was not nearly so romantic. Without her husband's income, Della Williams scrimped and saved so that Myrna could attend the exclusive Westlake School for Girls. But the 14-year-old's true aspirations lay in more creative pursuits. By now, Myrna had become a graceful and talented dancer, as well as a hauntingly beautiful young woman. Her ambition was to become a professional and to perform the modern style of dance developed by her idols Ruth St. Denis and Isadora Duncan.
Becoming a dancer was never a daydream. I don't think she ever thought about being anything else. And I think her mother encouraged it because her mother was a pianist, and she encouraged Myrna. The headmistress at Westlake, of course, was very much of a snob, and when she discovered that Myrna was studying dance and probably going to perform as a dancer, she called her in and said that this was not acceptable for a Westlake girl and that she would have to stop.
Della Williams, who by now was an active figure in the Los Angeles arts community, was stunned at Westlake's attitude and decided her daughter would be better off elsewhere. The confident student enrolled at Venice High School and quickly flourished in the English and art departments. By her senior year, she was elected most beautiful and talented girl at the school, and even modeled for a commissioned statue named Aspiration, which still stands in front of Venice High. But at 18, family finances forced the popular student to leave school and look for a job. Myrna immediately looked for work as a dancer and was hired at Grauman's Egyptian Theater, where she performed in the elaborate prologues that were staged before each movie, including The Ten Commandments and The Thief of Baghdad. Her striking good looks attracted the attention of Hollywood portrait photographer Henry Waxman, who asked her to pose for these Grauman publicity shots.
Another of Waxman's subjects was Rudolph Valentino. He came one day when the pictures of Myrna were drying on a clothesline, looked at it and said, "Who is this girl?" He said, "She's a girl from Grauman's, a young dancer, Myrna Williams." And Valentino said, "Would you set up an interview?"
Rudolph Valentino was one of Hollywood's biggest and most powerful screen stars. After meeting the awestruck dancer, he arranged a screen test for a part in his independent production, Cobra. But Myrna's performance was considered wooden, and the test was pronounced an abysmal failure. Though disappointing, the brief experience in front of the camera made the 19-year-old determined to work in the movies. Myrna quit her job at Grauman's and haunted the casting office at MGM, where she was eventually chosen to play an extra in Ben-Hur. And then a chorus girl in Pretty Ladies, alongside another Hollywood hopeful, Lucille LeSueur, who later would be known as Joan Crawford. But when MGM failed to offer her a contract, Myrna was once again unemployed and worried about her ability to support her mother and brother. This time, Rudolph Valentino's wife, Natasha Rambova, came to the rescue when she cast Myrna in a small part as an intellectual vampire in What Price Beauty. The fledgling actress was convinced by friends that she needed a new last name to go along with her burgeoning acting career.
Among her friends at that time was a coterie of intellectuals, poets, dancers, painters. So they were throwing around names, and somebody suggested Myrna Lisa, who was a poet and was familiar with a poet named Myrna Loy, who was a well-known poet, suggested Myrna Loy.
Myrna scribbled her new name on the back of some photos she submitted to Warner Brothers and got cast in a prominent extra role in Satan and Sables. Her brief but captivating screen appearance caught the attention of studio chief Jack Warner. And on July 13, 1925, Myrna Loy signed a 7-year contract at the starting salary of $75 a week. With single-minded determination and raw talent, 19-year-old Myrna Loy's dreams of stardom were just beginning to unfold. In 1925, the Roaring Twenties were in full swing, and with them, the era of the vamp. Newcomer Myrna Loy suited the role to perfection, with her svelte figure, copper hair, green eyes, and strong cheekbones. Warner Brothers put their latest find right to work in a steady stream of supporting roles and bit parts, and her classic vamp was now becoming an exotic international siren. In only 4 years, she had appeared in over 30 silent films and made an easy transition to talking pictures.
She was in the first feature that had a recorded soundtrack, Don Juan with John Barrymore. She was in the first feature with dialogue, The Jazz Singer, and she was in the first musical, The Desert Song, that had dialogue and music. So she was really there at the beginning and became one of the first purveyors of talk in the movies.
But despite the steady work, Warner Brothers dropped Loy in 1929, claiming they could not cast her as anything but a nefarious exotic. The spurned actress freelanced briefly and then signed a contract with Fox Studios in the fall of 1930.
Do you think they'll give you any pity when I tell them what you are and what you did to me?
Tell them anything you like. I'm not ashamed of what I did.
Are you sure?
I fought for my country just as you fought for yours.
You have no country. You were a paid spy.
That's a lie.
She really was one of those very special actresses who invented acting in the talkies just by doing it instinctively. Not, having a voice coach and trying to give a theatrical performance, as so many of them did and failed. She just had that natural instinct for playing to that camera.
I'm here. Yeah.
While at Fox, Loy was cast in nearly a dozen films in as many months, including the high-spirited comedy A Connecticut Yankee with Will Rogers.
Be not so cold to me, who am aflame with love.
I don't feel so good. What is that?
'Tis but some knave squealing in the torture chamber.
Torture chamber?
Aye, where my captives are kept. Mayhap that is the fool who fancies himself a king.
But as fewer and fewer interesting roles came her way, Myrna knew that her image as the revamped vamp would be difficult to transcend. In hopes of more substantial parts, Loy returned to MGM in 1932, this time with a 7-year contract. A steady income allowed the up-and-coming actress to move with her mother and brother to a modest home in Beverly Hills. Myrna dated often, but long hours on the set kept her from getting involved in any serious romance. That would change when the actress began a relationship with studio executive Arthur Hornblow.
He was very intellectual, very liberal politically, which appealed to Myrna. So he was a cultured and very sophisticated man, which was rare in Hollywood in those days. He appreciated her talent. He was the one that really first saw that she wasn't this China doll, as he said, but a real and vibrant person.
The beautiful 25-year-old was equally dazzled by the debonair businessman and gladly allowed herself to be molded by the sophisticated and reserved New Yorker. Although Arthur had not legally divorced, in 1932, Myrna decided it was time to leave her mother's nest and discreetly moved into Arthur's home.
Living together then was, by middle-class standards, racy. In Hollywood, it was de rigueur and just kept quiet by the studios.
With Arthur came his 6-year-old son, Terry, and Myrna enjoyed the time they shared together.
She knew how to make a child feel good and how to play at my level. She always seemed very welcoming. Treated me like a son. I remember it being a lot of fun to go anywhere with Myrna.
That same year, after dozens of films, Myrna got a break. Cast as a snobbish society dame in The Prize Fighter and the Lady with Max Baer.
Have you any broken bone?
No, I think I'm solid. I was nearly petrified, though.
Sometimes a fracture or joint bruise, you know.
Don't you think you better take my word for it?
Oh, you're okay. I always like to discover things for myself, though.
Well, I don't like that kind of exploring. Oh, I'm sorry. Where's Morgan? Are you hurt?
Have you met the wife, boys?
Yes, how do you do, Miss Morgan?
Hello.
How do you do?
Hello, let me look at you.
She always does this, and she's always disappointed.
Oh, you know I'm prouder than ever.
Finally shedding her international seductress image, Myrna received positive notice as a 3-dimensional character and gave much of the credit for the transformation to the film's director, Woody Van Dyke. Van Dyke was equally impressed with the versatile actress and petitioned hard with MGM executives to cast Myrna as the leading lady in his next film, The Thin Man, co-starring William Powell.
The murderer is right here in this room tonight. He's sitting here at this table.
Based on Dashiell Hammett's best-selling novel, Powell played the brilliant detective Nick Charles, a man with an eye for murder and a taste for a well-shaken martini. Loy played his beautiful and wealthy wife, Nora, who was every bit her husband's partner and spirited equal.
He was sort of stiff and pompous, and she loved to tease him and deflate him. And she was sort of scatterbrained, and he tried to keep her in line. So it was a perfect pairing of complementary opposites.
And yours?
Say, how many drinks have you had?
This will make 6 martinis.
All right. Will you bring me 5 more martinis? Leo, line them right up here.
Yes, ma'am.
It was very, very exciting to people at that time that a wife would not only match wits with her husband, but actually match drinks. So it was very new, very sophisticated, and very exciting.
But more than anything else, Loy and Powell shared a great screen chemistry and succeeded in putting a thoroughly modern spin on marital relations.
Asked her in here with me tonight.
Oh, yeah?
For the first time, marriage was shown on the screen as fun. And the relationship was shown as a vital, exciting, vivid exchange between a man and a woman that usually was shown in courtship, but never in marriage.
Audiences were taken with the friendship and attraction the on-screen couple shared so genuinely. And Loy's portrayal of the fast-talking, witty Nora Charles became, for both men and women, the role model for the perfect wife.
There was something unthreatening in the sense that she wasn't too beautiful or too glamorous or too deceitful or any of these excesses that women had come to be. She teased him, but she didn't emasculate him.
Released in 1934, The Thin Man was hailed by critics and beloved by audiences. Myrna Loy's performance was singled out and her popularity skyrocketed. After 10 years of non-stop work in over 85 films, Myrna Loy was now a movie star. By 1934, Myrna Loy had proved she was a bankable star and felt it was a reasonable time to renegotiate with MGM, especially when she discovered that her frequent co-star William Powell was earning double her $1,500 a week salary. When the studio stalled on contract talks and tried to cast the actress in a mediocre role, Myrna decided to take them on.
She had to literally walk out on the studio, go on suspension without pay. She was the first one to do that, long before more publicized walkouts happened. It just took a lot of guts, because at that time, the studios ruled you.
With theater owners and moviegoers clamoring for more Myrna Loy movies, the confident actress stuck by her convictions and stayed out of work for nearly a year. In 1935, Louis B. Mayer conceded to her demands and gave the actress a $25,000 bonus for returning to work. Myrna was quickly cast in a string of box office hits opposite other Hollywood heavyweights like Spencer Tracy in the cops and robbers romance Whipsaw.
If you don't shut up, you're going to have me bawling on your shoulder, and then what'll you do?
I'd put my arms around you and tell you.
Backed by popular demand, Nick and Nora Charles lit up the screen in After the Thin Man.
How they can expect a woman to still have any mystery left for a man after living in a place like this for 3 days, I don't know.
Darling, you don't need mystery. You've got something much better, something more alluring.
What?
Me.
You!
Clark Gable and Jean Harlow joined Myrna in the all-star romantic comedy Wife vs. Secretary, with the beautiful redhead once again cast as the charming wife.
Who do you think this is?
Simpson.
No. Try again.
Henny?
No. Try again.
Oh, I hear
I think we forget now just how popular she was. I mean, we think of Clark Gable as the king of Hollywood. Well, Myrna Loy was the queen of Hollywood. She was what millions of Americans wanted to be like. She was like their original role model.
Myrna continued to captivate audiences with her winning combination of warmth and sophistication in To Marry with Love, co-starring Warner Baxter.
Now, who did this before I did, may I ask?
Oh, the gentleman upstairs, the gentleman downstairs, gentleman across the hall.
Liar. Neither one of us ever lived before we were married, and you know it. We simply ate and slept and talked and walked.
It's true, isn't it? Think of the years we've wasted.
Oh, my darling.
Jock, they're waiting.
Let them wait.
By now, Hollywood's most popular on-screen wife was anxious to make her 5-year relationship with Arthur more permanent.
She was in love with him. She got impatient with living with him and decided that she had to act. She cut him off, went to Arrowhead where she had a cabin, and refused his calls and refused to see him until finally he came there and said, "All right, we'll get married."
On June 27th, 1936, 30-year-old Myrna Loy became Mrs. Arthur Hornblow. But although the couple had lived together for 4 years before marrying, Myrna's close friends had their doubts about the union.
I've been told that he only married her after she became one of the #1 stars at MGM. Till then, he wasn't quite sure she was worthy of him.
In 1937, Myrna Loy was voted #1 box office draw in a New York Daily News poll.
Coronation in Hollywood. Columnist Ed Sullivan, acting for 20 million film fans in a nationwide contest, crowns Clark Gable and Myrna Loy king and queen of the screen.
Miss Loy, on behalf of 20 million fans, I give you your crown.
Thank you, Ed. And on ascending the throne, may I say that no queen has ever stood beside such a good-looking king.
The king and queen of filmdom appeared in their 5th picture together, 1938's high-flying adventure film Test Pilot. Also starring Spencer Tracy.
How'd you like to get that junk over the fence before I stick a bull on you?
Hey, I'm just in the mood for a bull, sister. You go get him. I'm liable to pick him up and throw him right back in your lap.
What's fun about waiting for anybody to die? Every tick-tock of the clock. Still living, still living, still living, still living. What for?
After making the film Another Thin Man with William Powell, Myrna was loaned out to 20th Century Fox for the highly coveted role of Edwina in The Rains Came opposite Tyrone Power. It was one of the first full-fledged disaster movies of the talking era.
One of the most underrated performances in her career is The Rains Came. There's a scene where she is sizing him up. It is one of the sexiest things I've ever seen in the movies.
Who's the pale copper Apollo?
Major Safety.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Well, don't waste your time. He's a surgeon and a scientist. Any interest he might have in romance is purely biological.
You make him sound even more exciting. I've done everything but fall at your feet, and you haven't even blinked.
On December 7th, 1941, the Japanese shocked the world by bombing Pearl Harbor, and America entered World War II.
We are going to win this war, and we are going to win the peace that follows.
Myrna had been an outspoken detractor of Adolf Hitler since the start of the European invasions, and her public support of an economic boycott of Germany placed her near the top of Hitler's blacklist. Myrna threw her energy into the war effort, touring for the Red Cross and visiting psychiatric and burn wards across the country.
Motion picture personalities preside over ceremony of coffee and sinkers, and Kay Francis and Myrna Loy see some deep-sea dunking.
The volunteer work kept the movie star busy and away from home and her now crumbling marriage. Arthur's overbearing nature and demand for perfection had put a great strain on the couple's 5-year union and on Myrna's emotional health.
He never did anything that by any conventional standard was abusive, never. But he could convey a sense of disapproval that was formidable. She just found it more than she could bear, and so her independence and her sense of her own ego just finally led her to have to leave the relationship.
At 36 years old, Hollywood's most popular movie star found herself alone. And after 11 years together, Myrna decided that her relationship with Arthur Hornblow was over. While on a fundraising trip in New York, Myrna began a relationship with John Hertz Jr., the scion of the Hertz rent-a-car fortune, whom she had known socially before her separation from husband Arthur Hornblow.
Hertz came to a dinner party at their house when they were still married, and he took her hand and said to her, "You're the beloved of millions, but your hand is cold and clammy." And he played on the fact that she was really at this point on the verge of a nervous breakdown.
In 1942, a mere 6 days after her divorce from Hornblow became final, Myrna and John were wed. But as the newlyweds set up housekeeping in New York, it was clear that Myrna's successful husband was not interested in having a working wife. Not wanting to jeopardize her new marriage, Myrna turned down all film offers and focused on her charity work.
He was very possessive and at times physically abusive. When she was in New York doing Red Cross work, she was invited to Hyde Park to a reception for the Queen of the Netherlands, who was coming to visit the Roosevelts. And she was incredibly excited. And on the eve of her departure, John Hertz got a little drunk, got a little belligerent, and it ended up with Myrna having a black eye. And she had to cancel going to meet President Roosevelt.
After a 2-year marriage, Myrna walked out on Hertz and returned to Hollywood to star in yet another Thin Man sequel.
That's about the nicest thing you've said to me since the time I got my head caught in that custard door at the Waldorf.
That wasn't the Waldorf. That was the Astor.
Astor?
Astor!
But the movie fell flat, lacking the inspiration perhaps of director Woody Van Dyke, who had died earlier that year. Now 40, Myrna continued her work as the assistant to the Director of Military and Naval Welfare of the American Red Cross, setting up entertainment programs at Eastern military hospitals. While in Washington, D.C., she met Commodore Gene Markey, a charming and free-spirited film producer who had served as an assistant intelligence officer during the war. Once again, Myrna was enchanted by a successful and powerful man, and after a 1-year courtship, she walked down the aisle for a 3rd time. No longer under contract to MGM, the sultry actress was cast by director William Wyler in RKO's The Best Years of Our Lives. Myrna played opposite Frederick March in the story of 3 veterans readjusting to civilian life after World War II.
These are the great personalities who bring a memorable experience to glowing life. Samuel Goldwyn's masterpiece, with Myrna Loy and Frederick March living through the heartwarming second bloom of love. All of them together, giving all of us the best years of our lives.
One of the wisest elements in that casting was to put Myrna Loy in that role because of what she had represented in the society for the decade before. And she was, in audiences' mind, the perfect wife.
Having been in the hospitals, having really served these returning veterans, these wounded veterans, she knew the reality of what war did.
And gradually, in the mid and late 40s, we were getting a different picture, and The Best Years of Our Lives was one in which you saw really the devastation of it, not only the actual wounds, the actual horrors of veterans returning, but what they were returning to.
The film garnered 8 Oscar nominations, winning for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, and Best Supporting Actor. Although Myrna was not nominated herself, she was extremely proud to have been part of such a successful and important film. In 1947, Myrna returned to making the light-hearted comedies that had made her so famous, co-starring with Shirley Temple and screen idol Cary Grant in The Bachelor and the Bobby Soxer.
Now, my father was a bachelor.
Really?
He always said he'd know the girl he wanted to marry when he met her. Well, he met my mother, put his arm around her, and that was it. You feel nice in my arms.
The screen chemistry between Loy and Grant was so successful that the following year they were re-teamed in Mr. Blandings Builds His Dream House, with Myrna reprising her role as the perfect wife. But at home, her marriage to Jean Markey was far from perfection.
It was sort of not a marriage, it was kind of a long date. She discovered him at Claridge's in London with an Irish countess in bed. She never took him too seriously, but decided that there was no basis for trying to keep it going.
Loy took her trademark role one step further when she played the perfect mother of a large and loving brood in Cheaper by the Dozen, opposite Clifton Webb.
Hey, what do you suppose piddling little families with only 5 or 6 children do with themselves?
I can't imagine, but I do know one thing. We'll look back on moments like these as the happiest in our lives.
You children hear that?
Yes, sir.
All right, don't forget it.
Myrna had no vanity as a star. She went for the role. She was not trying to preserve youth. I mean, how many actresses in Hollywood would have played the mother of 12 in Cheaper by the Dozen? But Myrna just jumped at it because she respected Mrs. Galbraith, who was an extraordinary professional woman as well as the mother of 12 people.
Did I ever tell you about the night your mother and I were married? We decided to have an even dozen like you?
You set the actual target, dear. 6 boys and 6 girls. I believe you even made a memorandum of it.
That's right, son. Sounds kind of silly now, doesn't it?
Not half as silly as it sounded then.
The film was a box office hit and was followed by a sequel, Bells on Their Toes, with Jean Crane.
What I've been working for and hoping for and praying for is to have someone like Bob love you and marry you. Oh, Mother. Now get down to that hospital and catch him before he gets away.
Making pictures remained a financial necessity for the maturing actress, but personally, Myrna's priorities lay outside Hollywood. In 1950, she accepted a 3-year term on the National Committee for UNESCO, the educational, scientific, and cultural arm of the United Nations.
She was concerned with people. She was concerned about people living in squalor, people not having enough food, people not being warm. She just wanted to help everybody that she could, in whichever way she could.
Her post as representative brought her into contact with Howland Sargent, an envoy to the UN. Within a year, the two were married. But from the start, Howland resented Myrna's high profile.
When Howland Sargent was made Assistant Secretary of State, the papers ran a wonderful picture of him and Myrna and Dean Acheson, who was Secretary of State, and the headline read, "Myrna Loy's husband promoted."
When a woman has that sort of shattering success, it places them in a sense apart because they become an icon, and that's very hard to deal with. And in a sense, success is much more difficult to deal with than failure.
For the next 8 years, the movie star's full-time occupation was as a politician's wife. But her own political activities, as well as an occasional acting assignment, were more than her traditional husband could tolerate. In 1959, Myrna Loy separated from her 4th husband, and at age 54, the powerful and independent trailblazer forged ahead without regret and without looking back. Now 55 and single, in 1960, Myrna made her home in a book-filled Manhattan apartment overlooking the East River. Days and nights were filled with friends, public service, and the arts. She also continued to act, and in 1960 appeared as an alcoholic mother opposite screen heartthrob Paul Newman in From the Terrace.
Oh, forgive me. How horrible. I'm so excited and awkward. Oh, but you're home.
Yes, Mother.
In 1961, Myrna made her theater debut in the summer stock production of The Marriage Go-Round. By 1964, Loy was on the road with the national touring company of Barefoot in the Park and performed across the U.S. for 2.5 years. Throughout the 1960s, Myrna remained active in politics and joined the fight for civil rights. The actress used her celebrity to support liberal candidates, and she signed on as co-chairman of the Advisory Council of the National Committee Against Discrimination in Housing, exposing segregation in federally funded housing projects.
She had principled, she held firm, without ever losing her humor, without losing her charm. She took on everything that meant something to her, and she was serious about it.
Now in her early 70s, Myrna continued acting on stage, in film, and in television. Her career was now entering its 6th decade. But Myrna's health was now beginning to fail. The resilient actress survived 2 bouts of breast cancer, the first in 1975 and again in 1979. But with her indomitable strength of will, Myrna refused to let her illnesses bring her down. In 1981, she starred in the nostalgic romance Summer Solstice opposite Henry Fonda.
Oh, your hands are freezing.
Can't think of a better way to warm them up. Too much for you?
Never. Your eyes are sparkling.
Must be the light.
Myrna Loy was now a living legend, and yet she continued to remain a down-to-earth, loving woman.
We adored her. She was a wonderful part of our lives.
It wasn't, come flatter me, adore me, I'm the actress. It was all about us. She would be in the sink, snipping the green beans. My mother would give her this big thing of green beans, and she just was part of the family.
She just adopted everybody around her. Myself, my son, Roddy, and everyone who met her immediately gravitated toward her.
At 83, Myrna received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Kennedy Center.
She gave a new depth of character to the American woman. There had never been a woman like her before on film. She was an innocent with a team of wild horses inside. Jimmy Stewart said at the time, there ought to be a law against any man who doesn't want to marry Myrna Loy.
In 1991, the Motion Picture Academy bestowed an honorary Oscar to Myrna for her outstanding contribution and lifetime dedication to the motion picture industry. But the award would be bittersweet. By now, Myrna's health was rapidly deteriorating. On December 14th, 1993, Myrna Loy died at the age of 88. In a career that spanned 60 years and over 120 films, Myrna Loy will forever hold the title of the witty and charming perfect wife. But beyond her film legacy, Myrna's determination and spirit helped to make the world a better place.
She used stardom not for her own aggrandizement, but to better humanity.
It is her thirst for knowledge, her strength of will, and her warmth and grace that will be best remembered by the people she touched and loved.
It was wonderful to have a role model who, no matter what came her way, no matter what she did, never doubted herself.
She walked through life, all the years that I knew her, with this immense grace. She was irreplaceable.
Myrna Loy and William Powell received thousands of letters seeking marital advice from the perfect couple. But in her autobiography, written when she was 82, Myrna said she and Powell were too much alike to have an actual affair. She also wrote openly about her failed marriages and being branded a communist. But Myrna Loy steered clear of Hollywood gossip, except for a blunt assessment of Clark Gable. She revealed that Gable made a pass at her while his wife was just a few feet away, and said he couldn't act his way out of a bag. Her sharp comments make it easy to understand why so many felt Myrna Loy and Nora Charles were one and the same.